Hello everyone, this is Lord Carnine and I am here with the first game of the Adios 8th edition Grand Tournament that took place in Durham, North Carolina. Oh man, like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Um, yeah, had a lot of reports to do in a very short amount of time, and it was a bit of a busy summer. So now that things are a little bit quieter and I'm just kind of staying at home studying all the time, I have time to do some reports, so I'm going to put these up, try to get these next 5 up pretty shortly, I hope. So anyway, buckle up and get ready for the first game of Adios 8th. And this game saw me draw warriors for the first round. So here's my list. It's the same as the bragging rights list. I didn't change a single thing because I just used the same army and didn't feel like painting anything. So there's that. And then here's the warriors army. I forget all the items and everything. They're probably stuff I could have figured out if I really thought about it. Typical warriors army for ETC. I don't think it's that different from a lot of them. So Demon Prince of Slanesh level 4, 3-up Lord, Chaos Lord on a disc. He has a mage on a Demon Steed level 2 metal who rolled Final Trans. It's like, oh, you're kidding me. So he rolled, I think he just straight up rolled a 6. I don't even think he rolled a double. So he rolled a 6, he got the Final Trans, which is going to hurt, but what can you do? He has a 3-up BSB. He's got 2 units of 6 Marauder Cav, 3 Core Chariots, and 3 Gore Beast Chariots, and that's all he's got. So it's a lot of maneuverable, somewhat fast things, a couple of really hard to kill characters, and yeah, it's going to be a tough match. So here is his deployment, left to right. He has the Skull Cannons are Core Chariots, which, he procs it. I don't think he wanted to paint up Chariots just for this. So anyway, he's got Core Chariot. Next to them, he has his Marauder Cav. Next to them, another Core Chariot. Next to them, a Gore Beast. Behind that, he has his Disc Lord. Next to the Gore Beast is another Gore Beast. Behind that Gore Beast is his level 2 metal and his BSB. Next to that Gore Beast is a third Gore Beast. Or sorry, one of those is the Core Chariots. I think it's the third one from the left in the picture. Right, so then he has a Gore Beast there, then another Gore Beast, then behind them he has his Demon Prince, and then some more Cav. So lined up against him, I have 3 Furies across the back of the board, like I generally do. I have my, there's the one unit. I have my Plague Flies there on the hill. Behind them is my Thirster. Next to them is the Blight Kings. Behind them is 2 units of Horrors, both with blue fire. Behind the horror units, I have 2 Furies. In front of the next to the Blight Kings, I have my 5 Flies with Leechbone. Behind them, I have a Gateway horror unit. Behind that, another blue fire horror unit. I was lucky in this game. I wanted Gateway, and other than that, I really didn't care. So I happened to roll Gateway on my first spell, so I was able to just default to Sig for the rest of them, which was pretty nice. I was seeing if I could roll Bolt of Change as well. I didn't, so I just kept Blue Fire, just get some damage out. The spells I was rolling were pretty terrible, really not useful. Then I have my third Fury unit behind. So there's that, and he won first turn after Vanguards. And everything moved up, as you might expect. So everything's kind of moved up full speed. The Gore Beast's hanging back a little bit. The Core Chariot's going up full speed. He forgot to move the Marauder Cav when I took this picture, so they have moved in another picture. Over here on this flank, he moves his Chaos Lord on a disc flew over everyone basically up towards my lines. The BSB's hanging back a little bit to keep as many of the chariots in the BSB range as he could. These Marauder Horse came up to chaff after Vanguard. And yeah, this picture also doesn't have the Marauder Cav moved, but what he did do in Magic Phase is he threw a bunch of dice at Treason. Jesus, not Treason. Final Trans. He threw it a Final Trans on this unit of Horrors. I think he was just trying to go for the bubble stupidity effect. I'm not sure why he picked the Horror units and not the Blight Kings, but what can you do? He went for the Horrors, got a couple of them, and now most of my army has to take stupidity test, which sucks. So there is that. And yeah, here shows the final position of this unit. They just move forward a little bit. They're in easy charge range of my Plague Flies, assuming I can make stupidity tests. So we go to my turn 1, and of course I don't make a stupidity test in this unit. No, that would just be way too easy. Actually, both fly units failed their stupidity test, which just really hurt. Both of his units of cav were, I think, thrown away recklessly. He put them in a chaffing position when they didn't need to be. So I thought they were basically, he was handing me free points. By failing both stupidity tests, both these units are going to live unless I can deal with them with magic, which is just not ideal. My Thirster also failed his stupidity test and bumbled forward a couple inches. And so did all of my Fury units that were in range. So yeah, it was a whole lot of failed stupidity. I believe all my horror units passed, though, so I was able to throw some magic around, which is why this turn was so short for me. So the one Fury unit was out of range. So they were able to move, and they were able to get up here to around the flank. There's really nothing they can do here, aside from maybe threaten the flank of the Marauder Cav if they're still there next turn. So we'll see what we can do. Magic phase comes down, and I am able to get off some spells, and I'm able to kill this unit. I think I got a gateway off. I don't know. I forget. I think it was a gateway because it's out of line of sight. So gateway comes down, kills the unit, which was nice. And otherwise, everything just kind of looks like that post-stupidity tests. Yeah, that one really hurt me. So we go to Warriors turn 2. And yeah, with this unit failing, he was able to just pile in. I couldn't do anything to try to push the range. I was hoping I could charge the Marauders, and that with a reform, I could get out of arc of at least some of them. Because in a grind, I can definitely take 1 chariot. I might be able to take 2, 3 in Marauder Cav. I can't take that all at once on a unit of 4. That's just not going to happen. So he was able to get all 3 in. They were all easy charges. I think one of them needed a 10, the farthest one, but he was able to make it anyway, which is just not fun. I don't know what that one is for. I think that one was from Winds of Magic, came down and punched something. Over here, he charged into my Furies with his Disclord and was able to take them off and able to reform towards the middle. And he killed the flies, as you might expect. Overran with everything. The Gorbeast went into the flank of my Bloodthirster, and everything else just kind of reformed. So we go to Demons turn 2, and I start off with a charge. My Blight King's into his Chariot, which he promptly fled. I had put a couple wounds on that core Chariot. I think he's just trying to save points now. So he flees them. He's fine. His Marauders are Marcus Slanesh, obviously, so they're immune to panic. So there's that. Otherwise, I moved my Furies up to chaff the Chariot, the Gorbeast Chariot, from being able to charge past into my Blight Kings. I don't want him getting the charge on me. I'd much rather get the charge on him. If possible, he can make it on a long overrun. I think he needs a 10 on the overrun when he charges me in order to get into the Blight Kings after I contract. But I mean, if he does overrun and he misses it, which he's a decent chance of doing, then I got a really easy charge on him. So he's just got to eat the charge and lose the unit. Otherwise, I just kind of moved all my casters around to... I moved my casters around to just kind of get angles. I was able to get some sight on the unit of Cav, but no magic was able to do any damage to it. I got a couple blue fires off, but I wasn't able to do anything to them, which is kind of unfortunate. My flies charged something. I think it was one of his other chariots, and he fled, so I failed my charge, just kind of scooted forward a couple inches. We go to combat, and I kill the chariot, as you might expect. He did, I think he whiffed on his impact hits, but even if he did, he did like 1 wound max, I think. Let's go to Warriors turn 3, and with my flies somewhat out of position, he charges in with his BSB and his 3-up Lord, clipping with the 3-up Lord, so if he kills me in 1 round, which is possible, Demons, I don't have a reroll, I could boxcar something, then he can overrun into my Gateway unit, which is obviously his goal. The Demon Prince comes out and flies here out of arc of sight. I didn't reform that way after I killed the Gorbeast Chariot. There was just no way I could angle myself so that his BSB was completely out of range, and I just wanted to prevent his Demon Prince from going into my Blight King, since they're infantry and he could stomp them. I really didn't want him going into that, so I put my arc in such a way that he is going to be countercharged if he goes into them. So instead he just moves out of arc of sight of my Bloodthirster, which what can you do? There you go. He did make the charge with the core Chariot into the Furies, hoping for a 10-inch overrun into my Blight Kings. These guys just kind of whipped around the flank. I think he got another I think he got another treason off of my gateway unit a previous turn, and these guys failed their stupidity test again last turn, which is why they haven't moved. They're in the exact same spot they were before, which is unfortunate. This guy fails to rally and just keeps running towards the board edge. And yeah, he tried to get the other Gore Beast into the Plague Flies as well with the BSB, try to give him some company, rather than make it a two-man show, make it a two-man and one chariot show. But he needed a long charge, and he missed it, so that was lucky. In Magic Phase, I think he made a big mistake here. He starts off with Acquiescence. I think he was trying to get me to burn some dice. He cast Acquiescence on my Bloodthirster. And like I said, I think he was just trying to get me to burn some dice so that he can Cackle Bomb. But I just let this go, because I measured it, and if I do my random move towards him, after my pivot, it's like a 3. So a 3+ gets me a free charge into his Demon Prince that was out of arc of sight. I think it was a huge mistake on his part. So I just let through Acquiescence and stop Cacophonic. So we'll see if I can roll 3+ on my random move. And if I can, I trapped his Demon Prince and probably won the game, which is pretty awesome. Here, I'm able to put a wound on his BSB. I slip one through. He wins combat. He does a lot of wounds to me. He's got charge, flank, banner versus my banner, and one wound. Just from there, he beats me. I think he beats me by a couple more. But I do my break check, and I roll an 11. So it was so close to being dangerous. I almost rolled the boxcars. Fortunately, it was only 11. That's still a lot of wounds, though. I think I took like, oh man, I think I took like 6 or 7. Absolutely brutal break check. So this is what they look like after combat. I only have 3 left, one of which is on 2 wounds. So we go to Demons turn 3. And so I do my random movement for my Bloodthirster, and sure enough, I make it. I rolled like a 5, so I was able to get it easily into his Demon Prince. Like I said, a huge mistake on his part to give me that random move charge. Otherwise, with movement, these guys charged into the chariot, which had killed the Furies and overran, but didn't overrun far enough. I countercharged, was able to take him off. Otherwise, my Furies move around. They're now aiming towards his fast cab that whipped around the flank, trying to take them off. In combat, he's finally able to get rid of the last Plague Fly, and he's able to reform after combat. This combat, though, I do kill him. I mean, sort of expected. I have 9 attacks. I have Hatred. I'm at strength 9. Yeah, he's not surviving that. I actually think I rolled multi-wound too for his gift on this one too. There was no way this guy wasn't going down. So, yeah, I dropped him, which was pretty awesome. So we go to Warriors turn 4. And yeah, this time the Gore Beast Chariot makes it. He accompanies his general into the flank of one of my Blue Horror units, which had in the previous turn failed to do anything to the Marauder Cav. I think I did like 1 wound total to them, even though I had 3 blue fires aimed at them. So he's able to make the charge into that blue fire unit. BSB is just kind of hanging out. I forget what the BSB was doing. He did something. I don't know. He might have failed to charge at the rear of that other blue horror unit. Regardless, his Marauder Cab go into this horror unit, so there's that. End of combat, yeah, he takes off the blue horror unit really easily. It's really not a surprise. Impact hits alone, I think, killed a significant portion of them. My pink fire attacks didn't do anything. And so, oh, I forgot to mark a turn. This is my turn. My turn 4. Yeah, my turn 4. So I move my Bloodthirster around after killing and being forced to overrun after the Demon Prince. He flies back around over to here, aiming at all of his characters. The Gateway unit quick reforms and backs up to get out of the arc of sight of his Gore Beast, which, like I said, I think that's also was a careless mistake on his part, give me an out to get out of arc of sight of it. Right, so the other blue horror unit just kind of reforms to face towards whatever's left. And so we go to Magic Phase, and I roll Winds of Nurgle. So Winds of Nurgle does D6 plus 3 hits at strength 3, and then it's no armor save. So I roll 6 for the number of hits for the BSB. And I roll like 3 or 4 6s to wound him. He does his ward save. He rolls a couple of 2s. He already had 1 wound on him, and I dropped the BSB with Winds of Magic. say what you want about Winds of Magic. Sometimes it hurts, sometimes it's helpful. This time it helped me big time. In another game, it won't so much. But yeah, really, really lucky for me to get this points. And so then I have a decent Magic phase, decent Dominance. He doesn't have much in the way of Dispel dice. He doesn't have his level 4 anymore, so I throw 5 dice at Gateway, roll a large number of hits, roll a high strength, drop his general now. That panics his Gorbeast chariot, which starts running towards the table edge. Really lucky turn of events. After my center kind of collapsed when I rolled a terrible break check on my flies, I thought the game was starting to swing back towards him. This just securely puts it in my hands, so I'm probably going to win the game now. Combat, his Marauder Cav finally finish off the rest of my horrors that they were fighting. And so we go to Warrior's turn 5. So now, with both of his characters dead and his Gorebeast running, the only thing left to charge is his Marauder Horsemen. So he charges them into the flank, and he charges his level 2 Mage, which has been slowly moving up into the rear of this unit. This chariot, which had fled in a previous turn, I think that's the one that fled from my flies. He kept running, but he finally rallied this turn. After combat here, he did only like 1 or 2 wounds. I did a wound back. I stood unsteadfast, and I was able to reform to face him now. So Demon's turn 5, not much happens. I move my Bloodthirster around to get arc on his level 2 metal if he decides to not move out of arc of sight, if he tries to charge something else and get greedy. And I'm giving him the charge with the Gorebeast into me if he wants it. He knows he's just going to die. And otherwise the Bloodthirster is offering a counter charge opportunity for anything else he might charge. So, yeah, that just kind of shows the end of it. This is the end of the game. I think this is the end of turn 6. I was able to get the Gorebeast somehow. I think he charged my general, and I just took him off. My pink horrors eventually kill his Marauder Cav that had charged them in the flank, and his level 2 metal at this point just kind of booked it and hid behind the hill for the rest of the game. So in the final result, it is a 12-8 Demons. I got really lucky with Winds of Magic, not only for my own dice, but also for the fact that it killed his BSB. I think it would have been a lot closer. It probably would have been 11-9 if I didn't kill his BSB that way. I think I still would have gotten the BSB, but the BSB would have been able to charge one of my horror units, take another one off, and but then I would have been able to count and charge from my Bloodthirster more than likely, because he had already dealt with the Demon Prince and was kind of free roaming around anything that broke through my backline. So there's that. Hope you enjoyed the report. Hopefully the next one will be up somewhat soon, and talk to you later, guys. Have a good one.